Hi, it's Pat again. Today I'm going to talk about peppered moths. I'm sure all of you are well aware of the scientific example of peppered moths in support of evolution. Just briefly, the idea was that natural selection works to select the best colour in the wings of the moth suitable for camouflage. Now, before the industrial age, the peppered moths had displayed a lighter colour and apparently blended well with the colour of the bark on the trees in the area at the time. But when the Industrial Revolution hit, a lot of smog and soot darkened the tree trunks and caused the lighter shade of peppered moth to stand out if they rested on the tree trunks, therefore making easy prey for birds. Therefore, after several generations, what happened was apparently was that the lighter shade peppered moths were selected against as the birds fed on them, but the darker ones that were better camouflaged survived, and therefore you had a majority population of dark peppered moths. Well, I find this interesting, this subject fascinating, because there are a few points to make. Now, first of all, what they found was that the peppered moth in general does not rest on tree trunks anyway. They are more likely to be found up in the canopy where they are protected from bird life regardless of their colour. But even if it were true, even if they did predominantly rest upon tree trunks and therefore were selected, therefore were subject to natural selection in the selection of white or lighter coloured moths being selected against in an industrial age where there's dark tree trunks, etc. That's actually that actually supports the case of intelligent design, and I wonder how many people realise that, because the idea of intelligent design is that a great variety of changes is present in the original genome, and that as varieties evolve, as mutations evolve, those mutated species or variations have a smaller genetic library, if you will, than the original. And what happens is, as in the case of the peppered moth, I just watched a video on it, from an evolutionist video on the peppered moth. What happens is that when the situation changed, as it did in that area where the Industrial Revolution, when restrictions were placed upon the pollution in the area, the population then reverted back to a larger population of peppered moths, apparently. I don't know whether it's true or not, but what happened then to the darker moths? Well, they died out. They died out because that species had a smaller genetic library to draw from to adapt to change, and so therefore they died out. And so what happens time and time again is that, yes, there are changes and there are adaptations. Different species are created, and species is an arguable term anyway. It's just a word after all. But what happens in the end is that the original and the most complete gene pool always wins out in the long term, and that is fully in support of intelligent design or creation. So yeah, the peppered moth story, either way you look at it, if you're going to say no, if you're going to argue that that they did rest on tree trunks, or that they didn't rest on tree trunks, either way it supports evolution, it supports intelligent design. And I think they really made a big mistake, because you know, what lighter coloured peppered moths evolved into what? Evolved into moths. They're still moths, aren't they? They're not another type of creature. There's no new organs, no new function. They're still moths. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for today. I hope you enjoyed that. This is Pat signing off.